You guys, you know these two?
Yeah, I introduced myself. In texting with them.
Ready?
All right, go for it. Questions for Coach?
What do you hope to learn from this weekend? I know that U20, U23 is usually a summer date you guys circle.
Yeah, we have guys that are competing, that love to compete, and they have an opportunity, and learning is every day in this sport. This is a big event. This is a world trials for 2 different age groups. We have an incoming freshman that's going to be competing as well. So there's a lot to look forward to. I think there's 7 guys competing. So fired up to see them.
What are your expectations for them?
The expectations are the same. It doesn't change. These guys have high expectations for themselves. That's what's most important to us. We want to see the things that are like universal in the sport of wrestling: hustle, attitude, fight, and then go out and do your best wrestling, whatever that means to you individually. Fired up to watch them.
What do you hope a lot of these younger guys show? Because I feel like a lot of the guys that are registered are going to be key components of the program moving forward.
Yeah, the future is upon us. The future is now, and you're going to see some, guys that finish their first year here. You're going to see some backups in our lineup. Patrick Kennedy has had 2 redshirt years, basically. He's as advertised. Now it's his chance to prove that again in the competition arena. And then on the other hand, we have a returning All-American going too, Abe Assad, and a returning starter from a year ago or this past season. We have a blend of talent that, this is an opportunity to compete, and I'm excited to watch them compete. How many times do I got to say it? I'll say it as much as I have to, because we are excited. We're getting on a bus. It's going to be a road trip to Ohio, and can't beat that. Never forget road trips to Ohio.
What have you seen from the last 2 years of development for Patrick?
Seen some good things. He is as advertised. We had a situation last year where Marinelli exercised his COVID year, and Patrick Kennedy did not take a back seat, and they had a wrestle off at the Luther Open. Marinelli won that match, and the thing about Kennedy that impresses me is that he stayed ready. He stayed ready. It made sense to keep him in red shirt, especially as long as Marinelli was healthy. Marinelli was healthy. That's where we're at today. Next year, we're going to be dependent on Patrick Kennedy and a lot of our other younger guys. But more importantly, it's about this coming weekend, and we're excited about this opportunity to compete in Ohio.
What do you see as the next step for Kennedy?
I think here's the thing. He's proven himself international style. He's proven himself collegiate style. He's a handful for his opponents. Just continue to get better and, be relaxed and be able to execute in high stress, serious situations that, maybe are tight and make you maybe, wrestle, where the stakes are really, really high, make you wrestle at a high level. We've talked about it a lot. He seems to embrace challenges, and this weekend's another opportunity to prove that. And you can talk to him because he's sitting right there waiting to get in front of the mic.
A couple other guys, Raina, Rachi, redshirted this year too. They're going to get the chance to compete this weekend. What are you kind of hoping to see from them?
Well, those 2 guys are going to factor into our lineup. For sure. Rachi's probably more of a pure 49-pounder, but, with Murin coming back, we're going to need a 57-pounder. Raina is probably a more natural 57-pounder. We're going to need guys to step up, and it's not just that weight class. We're going to need all guys to step up, everybody on our roster, and that's the most important thing is when you have opportunity, seize the moment. And I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but this is another chance to compete It's important because it's the next chance to compete. We're excited to get on the bus and take a road trip to Ohio for really 2 world team trials, 2 age group world team trials.
How much do these off-season or out of regular season competitions factor into what could be decided in the fall and winter?
We want to see fight and attitude. We want to see you wrestle your best in high pressure situations, and be cool like a cucumber when it is high stress. And you learn every day in the wrestling room, in the practice room. You learn every day in competition. Our evaluation is ongoing. This doesn't have any more or any less weight or any more or any less significance on who's going to be in our lineup in November and December and down the stretch into March of 2023. But this is an opportunity to display your skills and serve notice to the rest of the world that you're for real.
Guys like Aiden Riggins and Kobe Franklin will be there too, incoming recruits.
Yeah, and I guess I mentioned only one of those, and I'm looking more at Franklin, but Riggins certainly as well. So both those guys are incoming, and they're going to factor into our future big time. So we're excited, and we're excited for some other commits that are, you can't talk about them by name, but they're going to be also factored into this world team trials as well. So we're fired up.
As you're continuing to recruit, how helpful is it to have the new facility coming?
Awesome. We're fired up. There was a little bit of hiccup, but the way that our administration and even our cross-campus support, I could say, the bosses' bosses, there's no hesitation. We're going forward. And, I was at an iClub recently, and the one thing that I said, and I wasn't prepared to say it, is that, sometimes you plan for extenuating circumstances that aren't, favorable, and sometimes you don't plan for them. And this is one where we didn't plan for it. We got all the information together. We sent it out to bid. The bid came in high. There's no hesitation. We're going forward. There's things you don't plan for, that you just keep moving forward on. And then there's some things where, there's contingencies put in there and things that I don't understand. And we got some great support on this side of the river and on the other side of the river. And just as important as that, we got great donors that have stepped up as well. And so we just got to go raise a little bit more money. Nothing's changed as far as timeline that I know. I know we got to go back to the Board of Regents. But these are things that, sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes you got to do it.
You mentioned Max. What was the conversation like for him to decide to come back?
I don't think the conversation was hard. I think the conversation was more between him and him. He is an emotional guy, and he was really, really like tore up after the national tournament. And he takes, and everybody does, they take losing hard, but he takes it especially hard. And in this situation, it took a little bit more time maybe for him to come to grips with, you're pretty damn tough. Give yourself some credit here, and let's move on. But at the same time, let's not keep having the same, result or whatever. And it's time to purge some demons. So, he's going to take his year, and that's good for the Hawks.
I remember at the NA.
Real Word's coming in. What was that? How did that recruiting process take place, and what's it been like having him? He's here, right?
He is essential to us going forward because now he is part of our roster, just like everybody on our roster. That is an important weight class. With Ironman leaving, we have a need for attitude, for hustle, for explosive wrestling. And no matter who it is that's either coming into our program, who's in our program currently, that's what we expect out of him. We're fired up to have him. He was on campus on an official visit, 3 weeks ago. got the lay of the land a little bit. I think no matter what you know or think you know about Iowa Hawkeye Wrestling and the Iowa Hawkeye Wrestling community, I think that it always surprises you when it's your first time in the environment. And I think he was shocked at, how the public is educated. I mean, everybody in town, they know what's going on. Our fans know what's going on. Our fans are paying attention. And they're excited. They're excited about additions. They're junkies, and we love it. So the more the merrier. So we're excited to have him be part of our roster, just like we're excited to have everybody that's on our roster to be a part of our roster. We're fired up for the future.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
We're fired up for Abe Assad and Patrick Kennedy.